Okay, you should be able to hear me now. Let me just pull this up in my phone so I can see if there's anything wrong with the stream. I'm having a hard time lately setting up the multi-stream because I primarily stream on Twitch, but I also live stream at the same time on YouTube through a plugin on OBS, but that's being a pain in the ass lately, which is annoying, but fine, I think. But nothing wrong so far on here. Fine then. Then we can begin. Let me see if I can pull up the game now, which will not be New Vegas today. I want something that uses even less of my brain, which in this case is Terraria, because I love this game. So this will be a YouTube video. So hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another video. Today I will be playing Terraria. I was about to say Fallout New Vegas just out of inertia, but no, it's gonna be Terraria today. But we're going to be talking a little bit about Fallout New Vegas, specifically about the first DLC, which is Honest Hearts, which I finished like 2 streams ago. So I want to give my opinion on it, which, to be clear, nobody asked. Vanilla, no. Oh, or I don't know if you're asking about Terraria or Fallout. If you're talking about Fallout, yeah. I mean, no. If you're talking about Fallout, no. It's not vanilla. But if you're asking about Terraria, then yes, it is vanilla. I don't have the brain power or the skill to play with mods. I don't know which one of these is my current character. I think it's this one, the one that I've been playing on stream. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this one. And I created a large world, I think, to get some resources, probably. But which one of these? Large world or medium world? Yeah, this one. Yeah, I don't play with mods. I'm way too afraid. Alright, so let me check where I left off on Terraria so I can continue with it and turn off my brain for the game while I speak about something else. I don't remember what I was doing. Do I have a... Okay, have a bunch of NPCs. I run out of houses, so maybe I should make another one. I think what would be next, seeing this, something weird about auto moderator is deleting my messages, lol. It's just saying, what? Let me check that real quick. Connecting to chat. Okay, I'll have an eye on that. But I was just saying how I love Terraria. I played through it like 9 times, and twice through Calamity and once on Calamity Death Mode. You do have a lot of free time, don't you? That's good. Like it takes a certain type of skill that I don't have. Like Terraria Vanilla is hard enough for me as it is. So honestly, I don't think I will be able to pull off like playing some of those hard mods. Or even hard mode in this game. Okay, I think what will be next will be fighting Skeleton, which I don't have an arena for it. Maybe I could make it now. Do I have enough wood? Well, I wish I had that much free time nowadays. Most of that was done while I was still studying. I started playing this game when I was about 12 years old. I think I played the last version of the beta before the game actually came out. I don't remember if I started playing either on the last version of the beta or the first, the 1.0. But yeah, it's been a long time, and I always come back to this game for some reason. I mean, the reason is that I like it clearly, but you know. Okay, so yeah, I will be making an arena for Skeletron while I wait for it to be nighttime. I could be farming some other worlds for other stuff, maybe some better accessories or whatever, but I don't want to think about this game today, so I'm just gonna keep it simple. And well, I'm taking my sweet time starting to talk about what I was supposed to talk about. I get distracted way too easily. My last brain cell is doing the best that it can to keep things in order, but it's clearly not enough. Alright, so I made a little list of some checkpoints or some sort of structure that I will follow while talking about the Honest Hearts DLC. So that I can be a little bit, at least a little bit coherent. What is this? Is there another meteor? Oh, back there. Didn't even notice it. Fine then. Let me get to where I'm supposed to go, which is the outside of the dungeon, and I will start speaking about New Vegas. Which, by the way, have you watched the new series? The Amazon Prime series? I have been watching it. I mean, I kind of like it, but I like a lot of things, which doesn't necessarily mean they're good, but sometimes I just have to turn off my brain even more to enjoy stuff. And I think the Fallout series on Amazon does ask of me a great amount of turning my brain off, which I don't think it's too good, but at the end of the day I do enjoy it, sort of, most of the time. Some of the times it's simply too stupid for me and I check out a little bit, but overall it's fine. The new series, I'm not aware of any new series by Amazon. There's a Fallout TV show on Prime. It's on its second season already. Just the Fallout series. I mean, it came out a while ago now. I've seen some of it. I couldn't really watch it beyond episode 3 or 4. Yeah, it's kind of rough sometimes. If it was due to that, I don't know. Maybe it was some other reason, but if it's because you couldn't really stick to it due to the way the show is, then I understand, because it is pretty rough sometimes. It has too much of the Bethesda approach to the series, which I find too annoying sometimes. Like, I feel like Bethesda's Fallout is just like a series of scenarios to show you, but with no development. Like, it's just, I don't know, someone else should be able to put it into words better, but I feel like it's just like when you go to the zoo and there is exhibit number 1 and it's turtles, and you see turtles and you're excited because you saw turtles and you like turtles and they're great and you smile, but that's it. If you come back 1 month later, it's just gonna be turtles, the exact same as you saw it last time. There's absolutely nothing good, nothing new or new developments, which in this analogy it's pretty fucking stupid because of what kind of developments are turtles gonna have. But yeah, it just didn't seem that good or Fallout-y. Lol. I've seen some scenes on YouTube Shorts and they seemed funny, but I remember specifically not liking the show, so I just never got around to watching it or giving it a second try, rather. Yeah, I understand that. And that could have been me, but I don't really have a lot of things to watch, and I guess the good thing is that I can watch it while not watching it, you know, since it's too, may I say, dumb. I don't really have to put a lot of attention to it, and I'm not gonna be missing on anything, which might speak more about me than about the show, but it is what it is. But yeah, well, coming back to the zoo thing, and then exhibit number 2 is a lion, and that's great, but every single time that you come back to it, it's still gonna be a lion, and you're not gonna see anything new, and it's not gonna be doing anything risky or interesting or novel. It's just gonna be that. And I feel like Bethesda's approach to Fallout is kind of like that, in which, for example, now, I don't know, maybe I should be giving it more time because the season just started and it's just an episode like 3, about episode 3 or something. But it's just been like that, like checkpoints or things that the show feels like it has to show you, like, oh, we're in New Vegas. The NCR was in New Vegas. Look at this. Here's the NCR. Are you happy? Great. Let's move on. Nothing else with the NCR, which, to be fair, this season hasn't ended yet, so they might go. They will for sure go back to it, but there are some other more egregious or suspicious examples, like, for example, Caesar's Legion, and spoilers for the TV show, obviously, but they show you the Caesar's Legion, and they say the Caesar died some years ago, and now the Legion is divided in 2 factions, and they are constantly fighting, and well, you like the Caesar's Legion? Here is the Caesar's Legion, and they are dressing like Romans, and they speak weirdly, and have a weird form of government and community, and that's it. And by the end of the episode, one of those 2 factions of the fragmented Caesar's Legion gets blown up, which makes me think, like, well, maybe that was it. Is that it? Like, are they gonna be back? They must be back, right? But the way that Bethesda tackles on Fallout makes me worry about the possibility of that being it. You wanted to see Caesar's Legion because it was in New Vegas? Well, there it is, and I hope you liked it, and that's it. You're not going to see any further developments or any nuance to any of the factions, or it's just a caricature now, you know? Like, Caesar's Legion is silly, and they are kind of stupid, and that's it. And the NCR are the good guys, and they are in a bad situation, but that's it. I don't know. I just hope I'm proven wrong, and they still have a lot of time in the season to prove me wrong. I hope that's what happens, but as I said, the fact that I have to worry about it going the worst way possible is which discourages me from watching the show. But I'm gonna watch it either way because I have too much free time probably. But I usually just stick to stream VODs from people I like watching when I don't feel like using my brain or just want something in the background. That's useful too. But since I sometimes feel like I do have a backlog of things that I want to watch, then sometimes that's how I catch up. Which it depends, right? Like, there are things on which I don't have to put a lot of attention on, and that's fine. But of course, that doesn't apply to everything, and then there are some other things that I have to focus on. All right. So, what? Oh, Goblin's cow. Interesting. I'm gonna be. I need to be dealing with these things. Can I? Oh, not yet. Not yet, so a few more minutes before I can summon the boss. So, what we are talking about today, have to get to it, is I'm gonna be giving my opinion on the Fallout New Vegas DLC 1, which is Honest Hearts. Well, I don't really know the order in which they came out, but that's what's the order in which I was recommended to play the DLCs. The first one recommended to me was Honest Hearts, or the one in which I could get at the lowest level. I used to watch a lot more movie/series when I worked in an office because I'd be dying of boredom. I feel like I'm just not that big of a movie watcher myself. I usually just play stuff in my free time. I see. Well, at work I do have a lot of free time too, so yeah, I also use that time to watch stuff. I do prefer to play video games, like between hobbies, watching series or movies, or playing video games. I always prefer playing, but playing video games is something that I like to do more like without interruption, because I'm not too able to focus on playing if I want to focus on something else, like that. It takes my entire mental capacity playing video games, so that's not like something that I can leave on the side. If I want to do it, I have to focus on it in order to have fun, while the watching stuff can just be like background noise to avoid the possibility of a thought forming in my brain. So yeah. So the Honest Hearts, the first New Vegas DLC that I played. First of all, well, for the YouTube video, this is going to contain spoilers for a 1500-year-old game, in case anybody still doesn't know the plot or is thinking on starting it. Well, there's gonna be spoilers for probably the base game, but for sure for the DLC that we're gonna be talking about. The setting of the DLC is the Zion National Park, which, well, to start with, is quite different from the Mojave, in which well, the Mojave is pretty much a desert with, hold on, with the Zion National Park being more like a valley. It looks similar in color pattern, to be honest. It's a lot of orange and yellow, but it is distinct from the Mojave. And well, I went into that DLC at level like 11. As I said before, that's what a viewer recommended to me. And well, first impressions, let me think about it. Well, I do have to say as well that I have never, it's my first time playing through that DLC. I have played through the entire Fallout New Vegas game before, like the base game. I have played it in its entirety before, but not the DLCs. The time that I went through the entire game, it was just the base game. I did not get into any of the DLCs. So I didn't really know what to expect of the DLCs. I did know that some of them had new areas, but I think it turns out that every single one of them is played in a new area, or at least that's what I think now, which is pretty interesting because, I mean, the game had little development time to begin with, so I guess that's how the developers got a little bit more leeway to do different stuff. And I'm glad, because it does feel quite different. Like, while the Mojave desert is pretty open, and the closed spaces are mostly comprised of like buildings and some other facilities, like I don't know, the Redcon headquarters, or the thing with the rockets, or the vaults. In this case, in the Zion National Park, I think we don't have any vaults, but mostly you're gonna be exploring caves, which honestly for me felt a little underwhelming in terms of like ambient, because I'm still not talking about the story, which is a whole different thing that I'm gonna praise later on. But talking about exploring the caves, didn't really feel too interesting. They were kind of monotonous to me. Like some of them, I don't know. There's one with Yaguais, and another one has plant people from Vault 22. Actually, many of them do have the plant people, and a few of them also have the regular enemies of the DLC, which are the White Legs, which is a tribal faction, which is another of the gimmicks of this DLC. Is that the setting, like the people you interact with, are tribal factions. You fight on behalf of one against another one, which is pretty interesting given the overall setting of the series, like the post-apocalyptic thing after the nukes. And seeing tribes is quite interesting, because as far as I understood, they are not really like originally indigenous people. It's not like current day Native Americans. It's more like indigenous settlements that appeared after the nuclear after the bombs fell, which is pretty interesting because it's also reflected on the outfit of the people that you interact with. Like, for example, one of your followers that's called follows Chalk, I think. Yeah, he's using a baseball cap, like simply a baseball cap, but the way, like, if you only look at him from a distance and you don't put a lot of attention into his design, it looks like pretty, I'm gonna say, stereotypical in an indigenous way. But if you pay close attention to what his outfit is made of, well, it's a baseball cap with some feathers and stuff, which makes it look more tribal. And also his weapon is just like a maze made of, I don't know, sticks and bones, I think. But also, if you look closely, well, it has some bullet casings, which you're not gonna be seeing on some, I don't know, on current day tribes, you know. So in that way, it's quite interesting. Then what else? Well, given the more tribal setting, well, that's also why the game is the DLC has the setting that it does, because as I said, you're not gonna be interacting with many buildings or anything. It's more like camps and caves, and that's it, which is quite a change from the base game, which is to be appreciated. It gives the DLC its own like identity. I didn't feel like too hooked with it from the beginning, but I pretty much try to give a chance to every single thing that I try, and I'm glad that I did to give a chance to this DLC, because at the end I did end up liking it. What else? Should I be talking about a little bit more about the story now? Like at least about the environmental storytelling, maybe? Because that's one of the things that I did like quite a lot. I wouldn't really say that specifically about in regards to the story that you interact with when you are playing through the DLC, but it was pretty good when talking about a little side story that the DLC tells you through the environment and through certain like logs on a few computers that you find throughout the caves. That is a very beautiful story, and I think I'm gonna be talking about that next. If I don't have anything else to say about this, let me check my little bullet points. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna start talking about the story of the DLC. I guess I'm gonna talk about the main story first before going into the side thingy and some other side stories, which I don't know if I can remember more than one, but well, yeah, I just remember about another one. But hold on, I'm in a bit of a bad situation here. The goddamn skeletons. By the way, is the game too loud? Because I haven't really checked the audio so far. I kind of forgot about it, but nah, I think the audio mixing is fine. Okay, thanks. So, where was I? Yeah, about the story. So, the story of the DLC. Basically, you're supposed to go with a caravan to get some resources while going through the Zion National Park, and I think since the beginning you're told that it's a dangerous region and stuff, but it is quite impactful that as soon as you get into the DLC area, every single one of your companions gets slimed. Like, everybody dies. You go in it with like 4 or 5 people, and every single one of them gets killed in an ambush by the rival tribal faction of the DLC, and you are kind of rescued, or not necessarily rescued, but assisted by one of those people, one of the factions that you fight alongside with, which are called, it was the Sorrows, and another one whose name I don't really remember. The name the Sorrows was more sticked to my brain than the other one, but yeah, that's not that important. Hold on, wait. Okay. So yeah, you get saved by that dude, and he takes you to a camp in which you meet Joshua Graham, which is quite an important character. Wait. Okay, that was a trap, and I didn't fall for it, but then I did. Okay. Yeah, Joshua Graham. It's a pretty important character, and someone who gets referenced a lot on the internet, and I didn't know why until I play this DLC. Now I kind of see why, but it also, I don't know if it's a hot take, but didn't seem like that much of a big deal for me. Hold on, I'm getting my ass whooped. Yeah, and so this guy takes you to Joshua Graham, which by this point has already been kind of introduced to you with the intro cutscene to the DLC that explains to you who Joshua Graham is, or was, which basically he was part of Caesar's Legion. He was a badass, and then one day he sort of failed on one of his tasks alongside a lot of other people from the Legion. So to make an example out of him, the Caesar tried to get him killed, kind of. They like set him on fire and throw him into a valley or something. But he didn't die. He survived, and he's now like a legend. Oh my god, I'm stupid. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, that's then you meet him. He basically tells you about who he is, and he's basically into some religious faction who are also helping a couple of the tribes in Zion, one of which are the Sorrows. Then afterwards, honestly, I don't think the story is that interesting, at least to me. It's a bunch of maybe I should say fetch quests, which, I mean, I have to be clear, in which the fetch quests in New Vegas do have a little bit of a higher standard than than Bethesda's Fallout games. In this case, they are a little more interesting. Like, for example, one of the first missions, he sends you to get some sort of device, and the device is in a bus that is crashed in the valley and has a lot of tiny skeletons, which is pretty dark, but it might be related to some side story that you find out about later. But it is at least like kind of, it makes you think, you know. It makes you feel stuff, which it does have some merit, I guess. So yeah, you do have to do a bunch of fetch quests, and then you take all the items that you are asked to find, you take them to the second important person in this DLC, who is called Daniel, who is the guy actually in close contact with the Sorrows, the other tribal faction that you cooperate with. And hold on, where is my tombstone? I did get quite far. But yeah, he then asks you to do some other stuff. He asks you to clear some White Legs camps, which are the enemy faction. He asks you to do some other stuff I don't really remember because I don't think it was that interesting. He sends you to kill some Yogwais, I think it was him, and I don't know, some other stuff that doesn't really have any like narrative weight. Like, they are justified within the plot. Like, I don't know, the Yogwais are making it difficult for the Sorrows to get resources or whatever. They've been getting killed by the Yogwais or whatever. But, like, in the overarching scheme of things, it is not that important. So that was not really too interesting to me, honestly. Oh, I got a key. Aqua Scepter. This is good, right? Excuse me. Oh, a key for... Okay, good. Only that. Yeah. So, yeah, you do that. And once all of that is done, I think that's pretty much everything there is to do before the ending of the DLC, when talking about like the main story, because there's some other stuff to do. There are also some side quests. So, as I said, I was not really too amazed with that. At least it isn't filled with a randomly generated fetch X amount of Y quests like a lot of RPGs. Yeah, that's like I was saying, and it's not like anything procedurally generated like the settlement's defense on Fallout 4. It is, every single thing you do is justified within the DLC. but I just didn't find it that interesting. So once you have done all that, you can, I think that's pretty much it, and then you get to the final mission, in which you are given a choice. You can, so all this time we've been talking about the ally faction, which are the Sorrows, a tribal faction, and the rival, also tribal faction, which are called the White Legs, if I recall correctly. So in this case, the White Legs are supposed to be, let's say, quote unquote, native to the Zion National Park, referring to the fact that they have been there for a long time. But the White Legs want to chase them out of said territory, claim it for themselves through violence, and the choice you are giving is whether to fight, which is Joshua Graham's side, or Daniel's side, who encourages the Sorrows to just leave the valley and like escape. Personally, I chose. Wait, they're cooking me. What the? Hold on. Jesus. Okay, that's better. I sided with Joshua, not because I'm a Joshua Graham fanboy, but because that seemed like the right thing to do, especially with the context given by a side story inside of the DLC, which I'm gonna talk about next. But honestly, I don't know what happens if you choose the other option. Maybe it would have been responsible of me to look it up, but honestly, I haven't been investigating a lot. So I just do this based on my experience. But the other option was framed as, well, let's just quit while we are ahead and not fight, and just leave the valley alongside the Sorrows, and that's it. Leave it as it is. And I guess in that case, the White Legs would take control of the valley, and that will be it. I don't know if in practice that is it, because it does sound a little bit weird and anticlimactic. Like, I mean, you would just choose to leave and that's it. I don't know. Sounds weird to me. Because in the option that I chose, well, you got a final battle, you got a clear settlement and get all the way to the end, because it is kind of shaped like a corridor. And you get to the end, and then you decide what to do with the chief of the White Legs. And in my case, well, I chose to fight him, and that's it. But yeah, it did feel more like a conclusion, and if the other option is just ending the DLC right then and there, that would be weird. But I would have to look that up. Maybe it isn't like that. I hope it isn't, but I don't know. So, what else? Yeah, I think I will talk about the side story now, because that's the thing that I liked the most about the DLC, which is kind of weird that the thing that I liked the most was a side story. But the thing is that during this DLC, you got a side story that you find out about through logs in computers and maybe one or two notes, which is the lore of a character known as the Father in the Caves. So this mysterious character is introduced to you close to the start of the DLC, because, well, as I said, Joshua Graham is in some sort of religious faction that seems to be based on, I'm pretty sure it's Christianity, but at the very least, some Abrahamic religion, or some permutation of that. And yeah, the new Canaanites, which are the Joshua Graham's people, or more like the people who Joshua Graham belongs to. He's not really, I don't think he's the leader, but he's part of them. Well, they are like spreading their religion, you know? And in this case, they are helping the Whitelegs while also introducing them to that said religion. So while Joshua Graham refers to the deity that he believes in as God, you can notice that the tribal people refer to said God. They do accept the religion, but they refer to it, to the deity, as the Father in the caves. And if you ask, hold on, that chest is that's not. I mean, oh, what the? Oh, I thought it was a mimic. I was about to let him die. Well, whatever. You notice that they refer to the deity as the Father in the caves. I mean, if you ask, I think, Daniel about it, he says, like, yeah, I mean, like, that's what their belief was before we introduced them to our God. And they just kept referring to God with that name because they were used to that, but like they sort of just like brush it off as like trying to melt both interpretations in order to make it more accepted by the tribal people, which sounds plausible because that's pretty much what happened in America's colonization, right? Like, at least here in Mexico, for example, you have some like, for example, the Virgin Mary has some let's say version of her that's pretty much based in some deity that the natives from here already had. So I said, like, I thought, like, okay, that I guess that makes sense, that it would make the god that they are introducing to the tribal people more accepted if they relate it to, or him, to something that they had already adopted and venerated beforehand. It would be peculiar for a mimic to spawn before a hard mode. I didn't even know that mimics don't spawn before hard mode, but you're right. Honestly, as I said, I'm not using my brain right now, so anything can happen and I probably wouldn't notice or wouldn't know what's happening. But yeah, then if you indicate or explore more about that plot point, like, for example, one of the first few times that you get into a cave while having a companion, or a companion that's from the Sorrows in this DLC, she says, like, we shouldn't be here, we shouldn't be exploring the caves because it's the home of the Father in the caves, and everybody that goes into the caves, like, they never come back. And obviously you just disregard her and say, like, it's gonna be fine, like, we're just gonna loot this cave and get out real quick, it's fine. So that's when you get into the cave, you find out that the reason that they never come back from the caves that they explore is because they are full with traps, and the traps were set up by a man who is at the time referred to in some computer logs as the survivalist. It seems like it was some old man who was habitating those caves, and in order to protect himself from some dangers, he set up traps. But, well, at the time you don't know what what became of him, but it's very clear that he's already dead because the logs that you find are dated like 100 years before current year while you do the DLC or while New Vegas takes place. So it's obvious he's already dead and he never disarmed the traps or anything. So everybody that goes into the caves, well, they pretty obviously die because they fall into the traps. So that's what explains that belief that they have that the caves are sacred and that they are not supposed to go in there. And if they do, if they if they break that, let's say, rule, they disappear forever. So you start to find like the explanation behind their beliefs, and that is one. So there are many of those computer logs. There are like, I don't know, like 8, and you pretty much find one per cave of the caves that are related to said side story. You find out, like, well, again, spoilers, but what you find out is that said old man was a war veteran before the bombs fell. He was, I think he participated in the annexation of Canada, if I recall correctly. And, well, when the bombs fell, he survived. His story is pretty rough from the beginning. I think, first of all, he regrets not being with his family when the bombs fall, because he liked to go out into the wilderness for, I don't know, for the weekend or something. And one of those times are the day that China or Voltec or whoever drops the bombs. So he is not with his family when all that happens, and he regrets that. He does get it, I think, into one of the caves. He gets into one of the caves and he holds up in there while it gets safe to go out. So he survives by himself that time for, I don't know, maybe some weeks, maybe even months. And he goes out, he goes to his hometown or the city where he was from. He looks for his family, but he, let me remember, I don't know if he doesn't find anybody or he is unable to get to them. I think he finds everything pretty much obliterated, so there is absolutely no way that he's gonna find his family or their remains, so he has to turn back. Is there where should I go? Hold on. Not here. I think I should go back through here. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's the first tragedy. Then he finds some group of people who he survives with for a certain amount of time. Who am I talking about? The Mexican people already? Hold on. Let me think about it. Let me try to recall a little bit more precisely how the story goes. The point is that he finds some group of people who he survives with, and I don't remember if it's at this time that he gives himself a second chance at having a partner, but his new partner dies during childbirth, which is horrible. Like he tries to learn how to how to deliver the baby to help her survive because of the context in which they are at. It's not like they're gonna go to a hospital or anything, but he tries to learn to help her, but there are some complications during childbirth, and both her and the baby die. Then I'm probably messing up the order of the events, but the important thing is that shitty things happens to him, and then he is surviving with some people. I don't know if part of the same group, but one day there is a new faction in Zion Valley, which are some people in blue jumpsuits with the number 22 on their backs. So people from Vault 22. That if you already have the context for them, which you might have because they are part of the base game, or at least their demise is people from a vault which have some sort of illness in their lungs, and they turn into plant people who kill everything on sight, and they also have some overgrown plants and shit. Also, wow, we got 2 Nazars already. They are only a 1% chance of dropping. You mean these? I have a 3. Like, I didn't know their drop chance. I think I even left one behind before, because I already had 2. I'm not sure if I already left one of these behind, but it's possible. I don't know if it's lucky or unlucky, because I assume there's some other things that I should get as drops from these enemies, right? But I'm only getting these. If these were out of chests, and this is pretty much all they're dropping, besides, of course, the bones. So, yeah, these people from Vault 22 attack the Mexican people who the survivalist was helping before, I think. And they kill a lot of them, and they kidnap a bunch of them, of the ones that survive. And there is an insanely chilling computer entry that is like he's narrating what happened to the people that he was helping. Like, he says the people with jumpsuits with a 22 on the back came and killed a lot of people and kidnapped some others, and he says that he's gonna go and rescue the ones that were taken alive. And he goes and he says, like, oh, I'm gonna go in a couple of days or whatever, and the next entry simply says they ate them. At that time, when I read that, I had to just like pause in my mind and take a second, because holy fuck, like, this guy can't catch a break. Like, he's just against straight up monsters. The one nice thing to find out would be a handgun, so you can make a Phoenix blaster. Okay, so I'll be on the lookout for that. See if they drop that. Hopefully. I mean, I expect to be here for a while. I haven't went there to pick up my money, right? I'll go before I forget. But yeah, damn it, this is why I died. This is pretty awful to navigate. Let's mark this with some torches to be able to see it from dungeons usually have 1 or 2 chests with a handgun in them. Okay, so I should be able to find it. I still have a couple of keys, right? Yes. So I'll be on the lookout. Thanks for letting me know. So yeah, after that entry, he says he pretty much dedicates his life to hunting them down. He sets them traps and ambushes them and all, which is also an explanation to why all the caves related to him are full of traps. Like, they were partly or totally for killing the Vault 22 people for what they did. Where should I continue? And I haven't found the book. I haven't found the water, whatever. But yeah. He dedicates to hunt them down, and he pretty much kills every single one of them. Oh, now I remember, save for the girl. The girl that he takes as a partner is actually one of the Vault 22 people, but she's healthy. She doesn't have the lungs disease or the plant disease thing. I don't know, I haven't explored Vault 22 yet, so I don't really know how that goes, but she's healthy, and she is, like, she's not one of the people responsible for killing everyone else, so he trusts her, and all the things that I said before happens. Yeah, that was the order of events. But yeah, he pretty much kills every one of them, and by this point he's already like emotionally checked out. He references multiple times, almost from the beginning of his storyline. He makes references to having suicidal thoughts, and I'm pretty sure that comes back after more tragic things happen to him. But he does survive through it all, like through what happens to him, through the people invading the territory where he was settling, and through mental illness too. Waterbolt is thicker than most books and is blue with an orange-ish yellow stripe at the bottom. Should narrow down the amount of stuff you have to look at. What I'm not sure about, what I'm not sure of is if, I don't know if, is it still highlighted if you put your mouse on top of it? Like, I remember that the easiest way to find it was to just run your mouse through the books. If it was Waterbolt, it would change your cursor to the icon of the book. Does that still happen, or do I have to be close for that to happen, or do I have to take out the books? Hold on, I'm dying. Let me... Too many enemies. Okay. Where do I go now? Maybe I should go back up, or go home already. Perhaps. I'll think about it. Or maybe look for the chests. I don't know if it still highlights, to be honest. I don't usually play vanilla anymore. Yeah, vanilla is for losers, right? But yeah, thanks anyway. I'm gonna try to put a little bit more attention. Is this a dog? Sparky. Okay, I'm keeping him. Well, where was I? So yeah, after he annihilates the Vault 22 people, something new happens. Some new people come to the Zion National Park, who are it's a bunch of kids at the time. It's just a bunch of kids who say they come from the quote-unquote school, and that they have this sort of boogeyman figure that they refer to as the principal. So I don't know if that's a reference to anything on the base game, I haven't found anything like that, but yeah. And well, since he is still the most capable person in Zion National Valley, he takes care of the kids, but he doesn't present himself to the kids. Rather, he acts in a how do I say it? Like, the fact that he doesn't appear to the kids, he doesn't present himself to them, he just does things to help them. Like, he gives them books, but he doesn't personally give the books to them. He just like leaves them out in the open so that they will find them. First, he said that first it's like just some literature and stuff, and then he starts leaving books about how to survive and how to use guns and everything. And he starts also later on to leave them letters. He writes letters for them, and he signs them as quote unquote the father, which it took me a while, but when I read that, I was like, oh, so that's why they refer to him as the father in the caves. But to make it even more clear, I think that's one of the last 2 or 3 entries, and in the last one, well, he says that what's that sound? Hold on. I don't know. But at the last entry, he says that he has pretty much taught them everything. Oh, Cobalt Shield. This is good. He has taught them everything he can, or that they will need, and he leaves them most of his possessions. And he does say that he hopes that when they grow older, they will go into the caves and claim everything else that he leaves behind, because he is dying, which is a little sad because they didn't get that message. I guess they, rather than exploring the caves, they left them as something sacred that they should not get into, so they didn't get to claim his last possessions, or find out, or his legacy, or find out about his real story. They don't get to find out about that. But yeah, he pretty much says goodbye in that letter. He says that he's dying likely from lung cancer, and that I think he intentionally goes someplace to die so that they will not find his corpse, to not break the illusion, I guess. He says he doesn't want to disappoint them by them finding out that all this time they have been listening to an old man, which is pretty sad, because he's the most badass old man that I have seen in the entire Fallout franchise. But yeah, he goes to die in a hell where his body is not found by anyone. But he also closes his final letter with some beautiful phrase that I will not recall word for word, but he pretty much says that thanks them for everything, and that he hopes to have helped them, but it was also a gift to him to, at the end, behold innocence. And that was just so beautiful, and I almost cried when I read that. So that side story, I just spent like half an hour talking about it, because I really, really loved it. I found it really interesting. I was exploring the entirety of every single cave that I found in hopes of of finding more about his story and what happened to him, and it was such a proper or such a beautiful end to him. Not the lung cancer part, but the fact that he wanted to remain as a shadowy figure to the kids, and that the last thing that he thought about was the kids that he took care of from the shadows, let's say, and also his both of his attempts at having a family, the first one before the nuclear bombs fell, and the other one when he was trying to survive at the Zion Valley. And yeah, I like that a lot. And simply for that storyline, simply due to that storyline, I can say that I love the DLC. Maybe I was not too invested on the main story, at least at first. But then afterwards, and after finding out that the Zion National Park was the legacy that the survivalist left to the kids, who would later on turn out to be the Sorrows, that's what made me decide to side on with Joshua Graham. Just because I thought, well, that's what the old man left for them, so I don't think it's neither fair nor right to have that taken away from them. So that's why I made that choice. Why is there just a sign that says panic at spawn? Lol. It's a long story. No, not really. This I made this because this was probably my first follower on Twitch. This was their nickname. Yeah, and I just made this. I just made this piece of art to say thank you. The side story does sound cool as fuck though, compared to the main quote unquote main part. Yes, it was really, really beautiful for me. That's why I liked it so much. That's kind of neat. Yeah, it's amazing. It's so well done. Where do I leave the bones? I guess materials. Kind of. On this. What else? Others. I guess I will be leaving the keys here. Now, what else? Where do I leave weapons, accessories, potions, captures, materials? Where do I leave the thing that turns bones into furniture? Would it be... I must already have one of those things that turns bones into... Oh, it's here. I legit only play Modern Terraria because of the magic storage mod, if you know about it. No, what is that? Because it sounds like I need it. Because this is always such a pain in the ass, like having to arrange everything. I do my best to kind of have everything sorted out, but it's never enough. I always run out of chests or end up mixing things where they don't belong. I simply hate it. I hate it. Okay, and the books would also be... Well, I guess materials, because you use them for some crafting. So yeah. What else should I say about it? I love hoarding items too much. It makes a central storage you upgrade by placing storage blocks next to each other, and you access them all from one single entry point in which you can store crafting tables for crafting and can sort items with filters. Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty necessary. So maybe I should get that. Like, is it also a standalone mod that I can get, or is it just part of Calamity? Because it might be useful. Well, no, I'm also not used to playing with mods. Yeah, you can get it standalone. It's just a quality of life thing. Yeah, it's pretty balanced too. Okay, that sounds good, because I guess Relogic has done the most that they can do with this, I guess, with a quick stack to nearby chest and letting you name the chests and the sword items, buttons and everything, but it's not enough. It's simply not enough, and you end up having a mess anyways. And I hate that. I hate disorganized stuff. But yeah, that is pretty much the story. What else should I mention about it? Yeah, about the main story, I just have to say that it felt like not much happened, and it also the ending also felt a little bit weird when like referring to the very last mission. The very last mission, you have to clear a camp, but it felt weird. I feel like there weren't a lot of enemies, but I think that was my fault, because before what must I do now? Oh, the elevator, right? Should I do that? I guess so. At the very last mission, you have to clear a camp, but before I got into the last mission, I went and discovered and cleared every single location that I could find, like every single one. So while I was doing that, I unknowingly got into the final area of the game and cleared it. There were some enemies and I killed them all and got up until the end of that zone, and there was nothing at the end. It was like a long corridor, and at the end there was nothing. Not like nor any chest or loot or lore or anything. And that's when I realized that I accidentally got into the last area of the game and cleared it before going into the last mission. I quote unquote accidentally beat the game. Exactly. I accidentally beat the game before officially beating the game. So when I did the last mission, I felt like there weren't a lot of enemies, and I think that might have something to do with that. So in that case, if that's why that was the way that it was, that was a tongue twister, then it's my fault, I guess. But I don't know, in my defense, I guess they could have blocked the entrance to that area until you got to the last mission or something. Maybe they could have said that in order to ambush them, you would, I don't know, blow up another entrance through which you get into their main camp that is usually hidden. I don't know, something, but something to avoid idiots like me doing stupid things. But whatever. And then at the end, well, before that, they talked about the chief of the rival tribe, who is called Salt Upon Wounds, and they refer to him a few times like, ooh, Salt Upon Wounds, he is evil and dangerous, and yeah, he's the big bad person that you have to beat to fix everything or whatever. But during the final mission, like, you clear that let's say corridor, and when you get to the end, you find that Joshua Graham already has him on his knees and is about to execute him. And that felt a little bit anticlimactic, I think, at least in my opinion. But they do ask you, like, okay, what do we do with this fucking degenerate? Do we, like, put him down like the dog he is? Or what do you think we should do? And my answer was to let him fight, because I wanted to beat him myself. And that's what I did. And you kill him, and that's it. I guess everyone is happily ever after. You do have a cutscene after that. Like the same way you have a cutscene at the end of the base game that explains what happens after your intervention in the story. There's the exact same thing, but for the DLC. So they tell you what happened with the Sorrows, with Joshua Graham, with Daniel, and all that. At least it doesn't give you 4 dialogue options that all lead to the same outcome like in Fallout 4. Exactly. At the very least, they asked me what I wanted to happen, and what I decided to happen happened. And it makes sense that it was that way, because I was pivotal to said outcome, you know? Because that's another annoying thing that does happen in Fallout 4. Like, I don't know, I think that if this was Fallout 4 throughout 3 or 4 missions, short missions in the DLC, I would have ended up being the leader of the White Legs and the Sorrows and the New Canaanites and the King of the World. And they will ask me, like, what do you want to happen? Do you want to kill this bastard yourself, or do you want me to execute him? And I would say, no, I wouldn't be asked. I wouldn't be asked in the first place, and Joshua Graham would just put a bullet through his neck. So I am grateful that I do feel like I have agency here. A new tribe needs your help. like, yeah. A new tribal settlement needs your help. But yeah, that's not the way that this game does things, and I'm grateful for that, because it is way more interesting, and you feel the agency, and you feel like said agency that you have is deserved, because you arrive to Zion, and then they ask you to do some, let's say, casual stuff, like, hey, we have to get some things, would you do us the favor to get them for us, and you will have our support. And then you do that. Then they ask you for something more important now, and you have to go talk to Daniel, and then Daniel sends you to clear some settlements, and then they find out that you are capable of clearing the White Legs camps. So you also find out about this more important conflict, or the bigger scope of the conflict that they are having for the territory, and they ask you to help, and you agree, you help. They pretty much, it seems like they can't do it without your help, because you kill a shit ton of people. And so, since you were so important for them to achieve this, they do give you the option, or the authority, or they take your opinion into account of what will happen next. And that feels deserved. And I like that about New Vegas. What else? Do I have any other characters to talk about? I already talked about Joshua Graham. He's a badass. Also, do you like the original top-down Fallouts, or have you played them? I have not played them. They intimidate me a little bit, because they are more like hardcore old school RPGs, but I am curious about them, and I would like to play them. Like, I don't think I've ever played such a pure or raw RPG, but I would like to. I have heard that they are a bit hard though, but I think I can handle it. So I would like to play them later on. Hold on, what is this? Shoe spikes. I already got them both. I'll get this and this. Okay, fine. So yeah, Joshua Graham, good character. He's a badass. He is presented to you as a badass from the very beginning. He proves it later on when he beats the final boss without your help, and he just has him on his knees before you actually intervene. But he doesn't, at least for now, I don't think he's as big of a deal as some other people make him out to be. Like, I don't think he is ordinary or unimportant or anything. Nothing like that. I just feel like he's a good character, but nothing that will change my life or that will stick in my brain for the rest of my life or anything. They are a little difficult but very fun. I also just generally like isometric type RPGs. I also played Atom RPG, which is a great Fallout-like game. I think I'll play the old school Fallout games eventually. I would like to. Can I buy them on Steam? I assume they will be pretty cheap, right? Oh, by the way, I have to buy. I wanted to buy 2 games today. I wanted to buy because the Steam sales for said games end today or tomorrow, so I wanted to get them before I miss on those offers. But I'm getting which ones? It was Yakuza Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, because I already played Like a Dragon, the other one, or Yakuza 7. So I'm gonna get the sequel, and I was gonna buy Persona 3, the remake. I already played through Portable. I never played through Fest though, but I don't think I will. I will just play the remake. I have already played through Persona 5 Royale and Persona 4 Golden. I have never played the classic Persona games either though. I don't think you can buy the first Fallouts on Steam. Probably on GOG though. Okay, I'll look them up. If they're cheap, I assume they will be cheap. And I could just get them, play them later on. So yeah, which other characters are important? Daniel. I don't think there is a lot. Well, there were a couple of things about Daniel that stuck to me, but one of them is related to another character, so I don't know if it counts. But the first of them was that Daniel seems like some kind of, he seems more passive than Joshua Graham. Like, Joshua Graham's take on the conflict is that the the Soros should fight against the Whitelegs to keep the territory that belongs to them. That it was that they are basically being invaded by the Whitelegs, and Joshua Graham says that they should fight and that they should defend what is rightfully theirs, while Daniel, the other authority figure there, says that they should avoid said conflict, avoid the bloodshed, avoid losing more Soros lives, which I can respect that, but while I can respect said point of view, I don't really share it, especially taking into account the context or the history of the place, with the father in the caves, the way that they arrived to that place, and how he left the territory for them to develop on and to prosper. And I think the cutscene after the DLC does tell you that the fact that you chose to fight has some effect on Daniel, like some lingering effect on his psyche. Like, I know that he feels like y'all didn't do the right thing, but he'll get over it. And another thing that happens related to him is that you have a companion in that DLC, and by the time that everything takes place, the Soros, many of the Soros are supposed to have already evacuated Zion. And the girl that you have as a companion during the DLC, well, she has a family, she has a husband and maybe a child. But the thing is that during the evacuation, they die. Her family dies, but she doesn't know about it. And Daniel, who does know about it, doesn't tell her. So you talk to him about it, and you pretty much well, in my case, I convinced him that she should know about it. Although his reasoning is understandable, like he doesn't want that to affect her at these hard times. He doesn't want that burden of her on her to know that her family died. So that's why he keeps it from her. But I didn't agree on that, so I talked to him, and he at the end he said like, yeah, we should tell her, and I just told her about it, and that was it. Just checked, and Fallout is on Steam, by the way. Great. Do you happen to Steam key for it? There you go. No way. Hold on. Is that for real? No way, right? I don't even know how to redeem one of those. Is it on, I don't know, store or Steam games? Okay, activate product code. Add a game. Activate a product on Steam. Let's see. Holy shit. Thank you so much. It was legit. How did you find that? That's crazy. Where did you find that code? Damn, thank you so much. Now I have to... How do I pay you back? Like... That's crazy. I didn't turn on the stream today thinking I would get a key for a game. No need. Like... Did you just... I don't know, did you find it on Reddit or something? I don't know. Like... It's so weird. So unusual. Okay, let me go back to being nonchalant. I'm smiling too much. So what else? Yeah, I think those were the only important characters that I remember. There's also your companions, but they're not that important, save for the girl that I already talked about, and that's the important thing about her. What else? I guess I could talk about a little bit more about the gameplay. That's my next bullet points. Nah, these Steam keys are single use. If it wasn't Reddit, it would have been long gone. Yeah, I assume that. It just seems so random, you know? Teleportation potion. I love these. But yeah, my next bullet point was about the gameplay, the combat and shit. So I got into the DLC at level 11. It didn't really feel that tough. Most of the enemies are attacked you on melee range, I think. Some of the wide legs do have guns, but nothing special. The weapons, the unique weapons for the DLC, I didn't find them that interesting. I mean, there is some Yagwai gauntlet that you get, which I guess would be interesting if I used melee weapons, but I don't. So I didn't really interact with that a lot. I just got it because it was part of the side quest, and I did pretty much every single side quest that I found or that I came across, and I think I discovered every location on the DLC, or at least every single one that could get marked on the map or that appeared on my radar. So I think I pretty much found out everything that I could about it through gameplay. What else? The caves, I said before, I didn't find them that interesting. Story-wise, I absolutely did, but gameplay-wise, they seem pretty regular. Oh, a compass. Good. I'm getting a lot of items that I don't think they're that common, right? Like, I didn't know that item that I got 3 of before had a 1% drop chance. And now the compass, I think that also is a little bit rare, isn't it? I don't know. What else? Joshua Graham incentivizes you to use a certain type of pistol, but that didn't feel to... Yeah, it's a 1.2% chance for a compass to drop. What is this luck? I get an Steam key for a game that I wanted to try out. I find items with a 1% drop chance. What is happening? Hold on. Where's that damn worm? Okay, good. Is this water enough? Let's see. No. Let's get a little bit more to clear that lava. What else? Yeah, there was a pistol that Joshua Graham gives you a perk for using while he's your companion at the very last mission, but that played like pretty much like any other gun, and it wasn't that visually appealing or interesting, I would say. I didn't find the DLC too difficult either. Like, I did level up a lot throughout the DLC. I entered at level 11 and got out at like level 18 or 19. And that's pretty much it about that. I don't think I used any... Well, I did use a new armor, but that was some of the survivalists' loot. I am using it in his honor, I guess. What else? What else should I talk about? Let me see my little bullet points. What I liked the most about the DLC was the writing on that side story. I have no doubt about that. And what I liked the least, I guess I would say the middle of the story. Like, the start was okay. It was a little bit... it was interesting to start by getting my ass whooped, or the group that I was with, like, they were all killed as soon as I got into the DLC. That was interesting, but pretty much the middle was not that interesting, talking about the main story here. So I think that's what I like the least. Well, this bullet point is for some other DLCs later on. As I play more of them, I guess I will compare them to each other, but right now I don't have any other reference, so that's gonna be at some other time. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Conclusion, I liked it. I like the side story. I kind of like the beginning. I was also happy with the ending, and that's it. That will be it, on my opinion, on Fallout New Vegas Honest Hearts DLC. I thought this would be a shorter stream, but it's already been going for an hour and a half. Damn. Also, if you plan on getting magic storage, make sure you gather 3 diamonds, 3 sapphire, 3 emeralds, and at least 1 silver for the starting building pieces. I think I have all of those. How far away am I from the underworld? Not that far. Maybe I should get there, and that's where I'll leave it. I think so. But I think I got those materials. At least the sapphire and the emeralds, I can have them for sure, and the silver. The diamonds, I'm not sure about that one, but probably I also have that too. So, about Fallout, now that I finished the Honest Hearts DLC, a couple of streams ago, I started Old World Blues. At the end of that DLC, I will again make another video or a short stream. Well, hopefully short stream, giving my thoughts on it. So far, I'm liking it. I'm finding it particularly funny, but we will see how it continues later on. One of my playthroughs, I couldn't find a single diamond for like 8 hours. Hold on, I forgot I need to breathe. That's it. Yeah, diamonds are quite rare, aren't they? What is happening here? Oh, there's a skeleton spawner. And it's an infinite feedback loop of them stepping on the switch over and over and over and over. There, solved. Now, okay, good. This, torches. Great. The bad thing is, I run out of water. So, let's do this on this. And open up another pocket of water. I shouldn't put torches down because they will die. Here. This might be enough. Hopefully. I'm not sure of when next stream is gonna be. It might be tomorrow, but it depends on how well I can focus on the rest of things that I want to do tomorrow. Because no. I'm a fucking idiot. I just wanted to breathe, and I ended up filtering all the water out of this place. Okay, we're almost there, right? Yeah, I can make it before ending the stream. I'm a little bit tired though. I woke up early today, which is quite rare in me nowadays. I don't know. Ever since I finished my year of rotations on a hospital, I don't know. I think I got a little bit burnt out, and I fucked up my sleep schedule in an irreparable way, or seemingly irreparable way, and I have ever since, like, seriously, it's been a long time that I have exclusively been going to sleep late and getting out of bed just as late. Probably won't catch it. Only got around to watching this one because I haven't slept yet for the past like 26 hours. Will probably pass out after work. You should take care of yourself. That is dangerous, and that can take a toll on you on the long run. This is what I must say, not necessarily what I practice myself, but do as I said, not as I do, I guess. But yeah, last night, I don't know why, but I started feeling sleepy at like 7 or 7:30 p.m., which is crazy. That has not happened to me in a long time. So I was going to just ignore it and go to bed at the same time as always, but I said, nah, let me take advantage of this and try it out. Let me try to remember what it feels like to go to bed at a reasonable hour. I cannot for the life of me go to sleep in the evening. I always end up staying up till like 4 a.m. and sleeping like 5 hours tops. The bad thing about it for me is that it takes way too many hours off of my day. Because maybe if I was more disciplined like you, I will be sleeping less, but I don't. Like, I will go to sleep at like 2 or 3 a.m. and in that case, I'm not getting out of bed until like 11 in the morning. Or if it gets particularly bad, I have sometimes gotten out of bed at like 12 or 1 p.m., which is insane. Like, I am lucky enough to be able to afford that. Like, I don't have any responsibilities that demand me to be up at an early time, but still it is not responsible on my part, and it does like, it is time that I wish I would use properly. Hold on, let me get one of these for my house. I don't need another hook. Lol, I used to do that when I didn't work a lot. Like, I'd wake up at 3 p.m. and be up for 8 hours and then just go back to sleep. Yeah, and I don't know if that's the case for you, but it's the case for me that it feels like a waste. Like, every single day that's like that feels like I have wasted the entire day. Even if I don't, even if I get stuff done, which I think most of the times I do. At least something that I have planned, and I try to make a little schedule even with that in mind. But yeah, I once slept like 25 hours straight. No joke. Oh yeah, I hate sleeping. It does feel like a waste. I'm just so tired nowadays. Yeah, it feels awful. I hope it's just your circadian rhythm thrown out of whack, but in my case, it used to be related to my deteriorating mental state. I hope that's not your case, but you should still check that out, because that's something that you have to take care of, or it will just get worse and worse, and eventually it might even get out of hand. So just be careful. Okay, so a chest, but I didn't bring the key because I'm a stupid. So let's go back. Where it is? Here. Okay. So I think this is it. I think I got nothing more to say. About the next stream, it will probably be tomorrow, but it depends on how much free time I got, and that depends on whether or not I am diligent or responsible with my other tasks. Which, by the way, I got something new, part of my routine tomorrow, but that's fine. Okay, yeah, I can tell you it's not the circadian rhythm. Take care, man. Like, I hope whatever you're going through gets better. But I feel like I should tell you, which I'm pretty sure, like, as someone who has dealt with it, I'm pretty sure you have been told this before, but it will not get better by itself, and you have to take matters into your own hands and just like take the wheel. You know what I'm saying? All right, I should see about making some coffee so I don't pass out at work. Yeah. Actually, I would like to have some coffee right now. I'll see if I prepare some. So, thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment something, and I will reply. For you that are watching this on Twitch, thank you very much for being here. I hope to see you around next time, whenever that will be. I will try to let you know through Discord, as I did last time. And again, thank you very much. Hope you have a good night, and see you next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.